Hey everybody, Xeno back here for some more Mega Man. This time we're going to be tackling Mega Man World 3, or otherwise known as Mega Man 3 Game Boy in the NTSC regions. Just following up, I've been doing the Game Boy games, so I decided why not run through them all. My audio may sound a little different this time as I just replaced my microphone actually, so hopefully there will be an increase in the perceived audio quality. This is definitely better than the crappy stand mic that I've had for the last probably 7 to 10 years. Either way, let's get straight into it. Not much to introduce with this game. We still don't get any intro cutscene or anything, but the team is clearly getting better at putting these games together, which you'll see. I feel like this game is another pretty big improvement on Mega Man 2 Game Boy. And it has its own share of flaws. This game is bizarrely difficult, which will become a lot more obvious later down the line, but for now we get to start with the remaining 4 Mega Man 3 Robot Masters that didn't feature in the last game. I would like to point out a little interesting personal tidbit about this game, is that it's actually the first Mega Man game that I ever played. Back when I had a smaller channel when I was like a middle schooler, I used to play games on emulator sites a lot, and was debating between playing this game or Zelda Link's Awakening, I think, and I just started playing this game and got my ass handed to me, and gradually made my way through the other Mega Man games that I could find on those crappy online emulator sites. So interesting to... It's definitely an odd pick. I mean, most people would say either start at the first one or like play Mega Man 2 or something, but you know. Either way, I usually start with Snake Man in this game. Not that I play it particularly often, but I think he is the best starting point. Unlike Mega Man 2 Game Boy, this game is mostly a little more faithful with the porting aspect. We don't get different music this time, for better or worse. So, Snake Man stage in all its glory. I do like the palm trees, actually. That's not something that the original had, and I think this version looks really good with it. I like the colorization of this stage a lot, by the way. I'm definitely glad to be playing this in color. Oh, that missed. You might have noticed that on the stage select we got the Mega Man 4 stage select theme, so the Mega Man 3 theme isn't in here, interestingly enough. We also get the Mega Man 4 Charge Shot to deal with the Mega Man 3 Robot Masters with, which is interesting. It creates some interesting scenarios. The Charge Shot is pretty good against these snakehead enemies, for instance. They barely even get a chance to attack if you're adept. It's a pretty wide jump. This game has a lot of questionable kind of jumps like that. Again, mostly in the later stages, but a couple of the initial 4 are also a little brutal. I think Sparkman is probably the worst offender, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Got the pretty faithful big snakies. These bouncing things are a little different, actually, interestingly enough. So they just hop towards you now, as opposed to running, which is an interesting change. Not terribly impactful, but I like the attempt at variety. And like Mega Man 4, we get Eddie. I think you can manipulate him the same way you're able to do it in 4 if you want an energy tank. I guess I should have thought about that, but get rid of these. So yeah, a few things introduced in 4 that are present in this game that are interesting quality of life changes. I would say having the Charge Shot is basically just a straight upgrade. Better than not having it. Oh boy. Huh, okay, that fell a bit faster than I was expecting it to. Oh. Okay, I also thought that Potton had off-screened already. We get the little sky section. Okay. Let me try not to get hit by everything for a change. Let's see if we can grab that. Okay, no. Oh. Like the games before it, we don't have any of the rush utilities by default, which was always an interesting thing in my eyes. Okay. Is that even possible to do? I feel like it is. It is indeed possible with pretty careful footwork. Whoa. Okay, that was pretty close. So yeah, nice little E-Tank grab. This section, I don't think we get the flying bullets in this game, but that's fine. It gives the Dadas a bit more time to shine. That's these jackhammer things. Yeah, I also don't miss the cloud platforms, to be honest. They're pretty glitchy. That health just despawned, alright. Yeah, pretty manageable starter stage. I would say this is a good one to start with. And, well, we get Snake Man. Pretty much the same as the NES version. The strategy hasn't much changed. You just want to go back and forth. It looks like sometimes he can hit you. Okay. Not sure what that audio bug was from, but that's fine, I suppose. Yeah, not much to talk about with the boss patterns, other than slightly different timings on a few. Like, I got clipped by Snake Man in a case where you probably wouldn't in the NES game. And for our efforts, we get Search Snake and Coil. Let's move right along. Mega Man 3 has a weird weakness chain, but this game has two of each like little mini chains, so it's pretty easy to guess which Robot Master will be weak to which thing if you know the original. Like, we have Shadow and Spark, and then Snake and Gemini that already had relationships to each other, and then they just closed the loop. I would say that Shadow Man being weak to Gemini Laser is probably a quality of life upgrade compared to Topspin. Either way, Gemini Man stage is, well, a Gemini Man stage. Except, I don't think we get Nitrons in this version, which is unfortunate. They're replaced by Yambos. Okay. Let's try not to lose... Those eggs don't do as much damage as I thought they did, actually. We get Pickle Man Bowl. Yeah, interesting jackhammer variant that exists in this game. It's kind of like, what? The Bickies, the big Mega Man 3 Stomper guys. Kind of similar concept. They're not particularly hard to dodge. One thing I will say about this stage is I really like the way this interior looks. I like the original too, but this like kind of crystalline cave with the background tiles, even if I think they're the same tiles that are in the foreground, but it just looks really nice in a way that is kind of unique. I appreciate that, giving this version a little bit of its own flair. Of course, we still do get the weird, like, undulating, like, biological-looking threads here and the eggs. So that part hasn't changed. Interestingly, these whole eggs only give you items if you don't beat them with a charge shot. So we're going to see if we can get a bit of health. Yeah, there we go. Do they respawn? They don't. Okay, that's actually kind of interesting. I think it's interesting that that was kept accurate. Get some E-Tanks here. We're going to keep shooting these individually just to get health back up to max, because why not, pretty much. And yeah, now that we have enough health, we might as well start clearing these out a bit faster. Not too much to say about this section, to be honest. It's not particularly different than the original. Slightly shorter hallways, I suppose. And the poles look angrier now. But overall, not really a world of difference. I always found it kind of sad that the first three of these Game Boy games don't have the Robot Master refights. I think it would have been kind of fun to test some of the weapons, the like later game weapons on some of the earlier game bosses. Bit of a sidetracked thought as I'm just trying to make it through here. Alright, let's just kind of charge shot through the rest. I'm surprised these weren't animated in any way, even like in a monochrome kind of setting, like making them lighter or darker. Like, I wouldn't expect them to change color because this game wasn't originally made in color, of course, but I'm a little surprised that there wasn't an attempt to make them change flashiness. So we got pens. Interestingly enough, the weak spot is now this big crane on the head. Design is a little different as well. So, no longer the eyes as the weak spot, which, I don't know. I'm cool with either. The crane is a pretty obvious weak point, so it works out. It's the big flashing, or big animating red thing on top of it, so totally fine as a change in my books. My health is getting whittled down again. Any health here? Okay. Oh. I forgot that there are Mecha Heroes in this stage. Okay, my last shot just didn't come out for some reason. I believe this game also has Rush Marine, but as you can imagine, there's not that many opportunities to make good use of it. I don't even think the stage has water in it anymore. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, that's odd. We are definitely going to get clapped by Gemini Man, but let's just check it out. Huh. I like that pose. Did that do 1 damage? Okay. I actually maybe could have had that if I was smarter, but that's fine. Interesting, cave background aside, Gemini Man is the same as ever, pretty much. Yeah, he jumps when you shoot at him, and the laser is not particularly different. I don't know if that audio bug is a result of this colorized ROM or if it's something else. A tad strange, regardless. Got Gemini laser. Perfect. We'll be seeing how much use we get out of that. Shadow Man's next. His stage has count bombs, interestingly enough. I always forget if these things explode when they reach 0 or a second after. The timing is sometimes different between games. So here's the Pickleman Bull variant that doesn't jump. Some of them just move back and forth, like that one. Some of them do jump. We won't be seeing Proto Man in this stage, or in this entire game, I don't think. Interesting how he's just kind of absent from this one. Despite him being kind of an important part of the original Mega Man 3. This room is really basically the same as in the NES version, just scaled down. Except the original didn't have any Mecha Heroes in it. This slightly slower rendition of Shadow Man's theme is interesting. It's a little more soothing. I think it still fits, given the atmosphere. These parachute things aren't as intimidating as in the original. It looks like they move right instead of left at first, which is probably a good change, yeah. I was wondering if they put the little unfair Mecha Hero in the same spots. Oh, I forgot there was one of these holograms here. Let's be smart. There we go. Search Snake has this like weird like arc. It doesn't like travel upwards and fall cleanly. It kind of has this weird jagged movement if you look closely. Kind of strange. It also seems like it fires lower than it should for some reason. It looks like it's firing out of Mega Man's like pelvis. It's kind of bizarre. Oh. Okay. Well, this poses no threat because of the tiling. That's interesting. Shadow Man. Yeah, I mean that was a stage. Not much to talk about I believe Shadow Man is the same as in the original as well. Does he do 2 and then 3? Huh, okay, that behavior was carried over. Interesting. It's interesting how the developers must have seen that he only jumps twice at the beginning and thought that was intentional rather than just a kind of bad programming quirk. Either way, he's the same as in the original. Pretty difficult to avoid both of the blades and the slide. Again, not a particularly strong showing for a boss battle. More unfair than it should be. And last but not least, we have Spark Man. This is probably the hardest stage of the original 4, which is fitting because you don't particularly need to get Spark Shock at the beginning here, so save it for last is my recommendation. Oh, okay. I forgot this is the stage that Rush Jet comes from. Do we... Okay, maybe there is no Rush Marine in this game, actually. Because I feel like we should have gotten it already. Or... Oh, wait, no. Never mind. Rush Jet, some of the Rush utilities actually come from the later 4 stages. Forgot about that. That's an interesting design choice in itself, to be honest. Although I suppose it's fine for... Yeah, okay. Astute listeners will remember my comment about this stage being the hardest of the original 4, mostly because of spots like this. Like, this is just kind of annoying. If you get hit by the junk block, you'll fall in the pit just as I did. So you have to very carefully tiptoe over to the half vertical tile that exists on the side. I guess as a compliment, this stage at least makes more use of the junk blocks than the original did, but when the usage feels bad, I don't know if that's really a compliment. I do like the visuals of this stage, actually. I find that this stage has an interesting look compared to its NES counterpart. The others look mostly similar. I mean, I did compliment Snake Man's palm trees, but this stage with the exposed electrical wires, it's definitely a look. I think it's cool. These platforms rise much slower than the original, and we've game overed. Okay, excellent. Let's cut. As I said, this game can be quite brutal. It starts to become a lot more obvious in this stage if you follow the same route I did. I do feel like this stage is a noticeable difficulty curve compared to the other 3. This section at least isn't obnoxious. If these platforms rose as fast as they did in the NES version, it would probably be like nigh unplayable, but it's manageable, albeit annoying. Definitely not a fan of some of the design choices in this stage, to be completely frank, including the aforementioned junk block thing. This spike drop is also kind of dumb, with count bombs for like no justifiable reason. It's not like you can't move past these pretty easily. Yeah. I mean, interesting idea, I suppose. And then you have stuff like this, just like a spike that's only there to screw you over if you slide a bit too far to the right. Just bizarre choices. Definitely still manageable, though. This hallway is, slightly underbaked challenge. I mean, it's not that difficult to sneak past most of those junk blocks. I would actually argue that the first instance of them earlier in the stage was a much more difficult thing, and that hallway maybe should have been the introduction instead of that obstacle where you will more often than not fall into a pit. Oh, I was expecting an elegant to fall out of this. Okay. And yeah, that's that. Definitely a pretty brutal stage. Okay, yeah, those are still weak to Gemini Laser, that makes sense. Spark Man. Let's see. They preserved... Okay, no, they actually fixed the room layout issue. Anybody that remembers my Mega Man 3 video for Spark Man will remember that I really hate the imbalanced floor layout. It's actually something I talk about quite frequently when it's brought up. I'm so glad that the elevation is the same on both sides of this room, because it just does not make sense in the original. I just cannot wrap my head around why it was done on purpose like that. For our efforts, we get Spark Shock. And I suppose this video is running a bit long, actually. I'll cut it here, but thank you all for watching. This is Xeno, signing off. Bye-bye.